Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends, and our enemies. Everybody is here. As many of you know, last March, when it was announced that I was no longer in the Black Muslim movement, it was pointed out that it was my intention to work among the 22 million non-Muslim Afro-Americans and to try and form some type of organization or create a situation where the young people, our young people and students, could study the problems of our people for a period of time and then come up with a new analysis and give us some new ideas and some new suggestions as to how to approach a problem that too many other people have been playing around with for far too long. And that we would have some kind of meeting and determine at a later date whether to form a Black nationalist party or a Black nationalist army. There have been many people, many of our people across the country from all walks of life who have taken it upon themselves to try and pool their ideas and to come up with some kind of solution to the problem that confronts all of our people. And tonight, we are here to try and get an understanding of what it is they've come up with. Also, recently, when I was blessed to make a religious pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, where I met many people from all over the world, plus spent many weeks in Africa, trying to broaden my own scope and to get a more open mind to look at the problem as it actually is. One of the things that I realized, and I realized this before even going over there, was that our African brothers have gained their independence faster than you and I here in America have. They also have gained more recognition, more respect, more recognition, more respect as human beings faster than you and I have. And you and I supposedly live in the citadel. You and I supposedly live in the citadel of education, freedom, justice, democracy. They've also gained more recognition, more respect as human beings faster than you and I have. Just 60 years ago on the African continent, our people were colonized. They were suffering all forms of colonization, oppression, exploitation, degradation, humiliation, discrimination, and every other connotation. And a short time, they have gained more independence and more recognition, more respect as human beings than you and I have. And you and I supposedly supposed to be the citadel of education, freedom, justice, democracy, and all of these other pretty sounding words. So it was our intention to try and find out what it is our African brothers were doing so that we can get results, so that you and I could study what they had done and perhaps gain from that study or benefit from their experiences. And my traveling over there was designed to help to find out how. One of the first things the independent African nations did was form an organization called the Organization of African Unity. The purpose of our organization of Afro-American Unity, which has the same aim and objective, to fight whoever gets in our way, and to bring about the complete independence of people of African descent here in the Western Hemisphere, and first here in the United States, and to bring about the freedom of these people by any means necessary. That's our motto. The purpose of our organization to start right here in Buffalo, which has the largest concentration of people of African descent that exists anywhere on this earth. There are more Africans here in Buffalo than exist in any city on the African continent, because that's what you and I are, Africans. The Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Constitution of the United States, and the Bill of Rights are the principles in which we believe, and in these documents, put into practice, represent the essence of mankind's and good intentions, desires that all African people of organizations should henceforth unite, so that the welfare and well-being of our people will be assured. We are resolved to reinforce the common bond of purpose between our people by submerging all of our differences and establishing non-sectarian constructive programs for human rights. We hereby present this charter. Number one, the establishment. The Organization of Afro-American Unity shall include all people of African descent in the Western Hemisphere. In essence, what it is saying, instead of you and me running around seeking allies in our struggle for freedom, in the Irish neighborhood, or the Jewish neighborhood, or the Bangladesh neighborhood, or the Italian neighborhood, we need to seek some allies who look something like we do. It's time out for you and me to keep running in the arms of the wolf, right into the arms of the fox, looking for some kind of help. That's a drag. Number two, self-defense. Since self-preservation is the first law of nature, we assert the Afro-Americans' right to self-defense. The Constitution of the United States of America clearly affirms that the right of every American citizen to bear arms. And as Americans, we would not give up a single right guaranteed under the Constitution. The history of unpunished violence against our people clearly indicates that we must be prepared to defend ourselves, or we will continue to be a defenseless people at the mercy of a violent, racist mob. Now, back during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't want to kill him. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he had said.
Take your time, bro.
You have to read the history of slavery to understand. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked up to his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back. He put them in check. Get back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, dressed better. Boy, he loved his master. He lived in a better house. He lived next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food as his master, wore some of the same clothes. He even talked like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than he loved himself. He didn't want his master to get hurt. He got sick. He'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught on fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house to get burned down. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than his master was. Then there was that old house Negro. But then you had some old field Negro who lived in the hut. Had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kinds of clothes, ate the worst kinds of food, and they caught hell. They felt the sting, the lash. They hated their master. The master got sick, they prayed for a strong wind. The master got sick, they prayed that the master died. The master's house caught on fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along. This is the difference between the two. And today, you still have house Negroes and field Negroes running around today. I'm a field Negro. We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights as a human being in this society, on this earth, on this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Shay.
Yeah.